CCE Empowerment for Families. You ready to go, Linda?
Yes, I'm ready. As ready
Great.
as ready as I can be. So good morning, everybody. Of course, I'm Linda Green, and our nonprofit is Christ-Centered Empowerment for Families, where we provide prevention, education, and support for the for the loved ones, for the I should say for the loved ones or friends of those people who may be experiencing domestic violence. Okay, so I don't know. Can you see my slides yet?
I'm not able to
No.
see them, no.
Okay, well then let me do this. And you did share the screen? Is my screen shared?
I don't see your screen.
No? Or like, in other words, I don't know. Normally when I do my Zooms, I'm made a co-host. So have you made me co-host so I can share the screen? Is that something?
You should be able to share it without, do you see like a button on the bottom that says share with a green arrow?
See in the bottom of the of my Zoom screen?
Yes,
Ah, voila. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, we're
you're
good to go
good.
now. Ah,
Awesome.
okay. Okay, here
Perfect.
we go.
I see it now.
Voila.
Great.
Okay, very good. Very good. Practice makes perfect. Okay. All right. So I've already said who I am, and so I'm gonna go through this and not try not to go too fast, but it's difficult to share so much in such a short period of time. I'm not good at that. So y'all bear with me. So the object of what we want to objective for today is I want to make sure that y'all walk away with an understanding of what domestic violence is, a working definition. And we're going to cover just simply three types of abuse. There's far more than that. We're going to discuss the 3 R's, and I call that recognize, respond, and discover what resources are available, right? Both national and local resources. Okay, so what is domestic violence? Domestic violence is a pattern of coercive behaviors that are played out in a cycle designed to gain and maintain power and control over another person in an intimate relationship. And of course, this is played out in a cycle. So the first form of abuse we're going to talk about is emotional abuse. Now, emotional abuse is present in 100% of all cases of intimate partner violence. In all cases where there's domestic violence, emotional abuse is present. Okay. Um, it's designed, or what it does is it's designed to destroy a person's sense of self-worth, dignity, value, and identity. Right. So I always say that this is so incredibly insidious, and to think that this is something that is indeed 100% of all abusive relationships, this type of abuse is present. So the way we recognize emotional abuse, I know I've got a lot of boxes and I don't have time to get into all of them. But to give you an idea, this could be, does this person blame the other individual they're in a relationship with? Are their comments really blaming and really shaming? And sometimes, depending on your relationship or your connection to the survivor, this could be, you might actually experience this, you might actually see it. It could be very subtle, but you can pick up on it. This could be somebody who they're in a relationship where they might have difficulty managing their own emotions or stressful situations, could indeed be a sign of this form of abuse. And when I think about responding, the one thing that is so important is I always say safely responding. You want to maintain the relationship with the survivor, but you also want to be careful that you don't put yourself in harm's way. Right? You want to strengthen that relationship you have with this individual. So you want to check in with them and see how they're doing. You don't want to just kind of show up. That's going to be true throughout no matter what type of abuse it is. You don't want to show up in spaces and places where their abuser is. You never want to do that. So you want to respond in a way that's respectful and loving. And you can say something, hey, I've noticed a couple of things. I've noticed that this, and this, whatever it is you might be noticing. And of course, you ask this in a place where the abuser is not around, ideally in a public space, maybe just having a coffee somewhere, right? And always maintaining the confidentiality. Now, verbal abuse is a form of emotional abuse in which a person uses words or threats to gain or maintain this power and control. So power and control is a common thread throughout all forms of abuse because it's all about gaining and maintaining power and control over another individual in all aspects, pretty much in all aspects of their lives. Being on the receiving end of verbal abuse can cause a person to question their own intelligence, to question their value. And once again, like I said before, their own worth, their own sense of identity. It tears down the soul of a person. And when I say soul, I'm saying like the mind, the will, the emotions. It just destroys a person. It makes it very difficult over time, over a long period of time, someone who's experiencing this type of abuse. It can diminish so much of who they are until it impacts every aspect of their life. Okay. That's home life, that's work life, that's social life, that's all aspects of their life, work life, all of it. So verbal abuse is something that I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I've done this for so long until I can easily recognize it. As a matter of fact, you guys, to be honest, I have to be very careful that I'm not seeing everything as potentially being abusive. So it's being yelled at, it's being nagged, it's being called stupid, it's being talked down to, treated poorly. Oftentimes folks that are experiencing verbal abuse, their appearance is ridiculed. They can be told that they're worthless, no one's going to want you. It's all the horrible things that someone could be receiving and hearing, right? And once again, since our organization focuses on the friends and family, see, we focus on friends and family. So the training and the equipping that we do is for the friends and family of someone experiencing domestic violence. I spent a number of years working, providing direct support for survivors, but in this season, what I realize is there's just not enough advocates in the world, y'all. There's not enough people to do this kind of work, who get paid to do this kind of work, that can reach out and connect to the folks that are hurting and in trouble. The truth is, friends and family can spot it early enough, and I believe a lot of this can be prevented. So responding is the same thing, right? A lot of this is sort of the same thing. You want to maintain relationship, do all you can to even strengthen that relationship, because people that experience domestic violence, they lose everything. They really do. They lose their friendships. Sometimes they lose family, because isolation is a big part of domestic violence. I'm not focusing on that right now, but isolation is huge. So therefore, you may have to find yourself working out a little bit harder to maintain that relationship, especially if your heart is getting broken because you see what's happening to them, right? And you might list a couple of things that you've noticed. Like I said before, geez, I noticed that Johnny, I know you love Johnny, but man, it seems like he don't seem to be happy about anything you're wearing, girl. What's up with that? Bring your authentic self, if you will. However you talk to this friend, you want to do that. And you don't want to alarm the friend, because if you alarm them, here's the thing, you guys, they're already alarmed. On the inside, they're already suffering. On the inside, they're already hurting. So the way we respond, it means a lot, because they're already hurting, right? And then of course there's financial, and I put / economic abuse, because they're kind of one and the same. There's a lot of overlap. So financial abuse is controlling a person's or partner's ability to acquire, use, and maintain or access any economic resources. So that goes with not only getting a job and keeping your job, right? But it also goes along with preventing someone to even get a job. There's been cases where an abuser has taken a cell phone, so therefore a survivor has no access to the phone to see if the employer is reaching out to them, or taking a laptop and making it where they can't respond to maybe an email that came in, or saying, "Can I borrow the car? I'll bring it back before you have to go to work," and then they never come back. So now they put their job in jeopardy, right? Or accessing funding, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I don't want to run out of time. Okay, let's see. So, in recognizing it, the person misusing their power often will ask for money, right? And this can be true in a dating relationship as well as like a marital relationship, because domestic violence can be present, once again, in a dating relationship or in a marital relationship. It can just kind of show up, right? And then saying they're going to pay back, but never paying back, right? A survivor might discover that they're the one who's always making payments. They're paying for the movie, they're paying for the dinner, they're paying for everything, or they're constantly being asked if they could borrow $10 here, $5 there, but it's never given back. And then if they ever ask for it or mention it, then they're talked down to. "Oh, so you're going to bother me about $10. You get that? So they're constantly keeping the person on the hook, right? And I already talked a little about being victimized financially by preventing them to take classes, completing education, all of those things. And that's more so in a relationship where they're either married or they might be living with the person who's abusive. And the response is, once again, I always say this, maintain the relationship, always be kind of curious about what's going on, lovingly curious, encourage them to seek out maybe a school counselor if they're currently in school. Um, the importance of not overwhelming someone experiencing domestic violence is so huge. You don't want to overwhelm them, because the truth is, y'all, they're already overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. So therefore, when you come to them, you want to come with love. You want to come with respect. You want to come with kindness. You want to come with gentle, loving curiosity, and always, always, always protect the confidentiality. You never want to share with anybody else what's happening in your friend's relationship. And I have never alone right here. Never alone, when I have this here, is because the idea of never alone, you never, ever, ever want to support someone independently of another resource. Whether you call, like our local in Multnomah County is a call to safety, right? And their number is 503-235-5333 is a call to safety. And I used to answer crisis calls as well. And so I would have survivors who were in distress and struggling, they would call, but I would also have the loved ones of survivors that would call also, right? And that, I think that's what's kind of spurred this on for our particular nonprofit, is the mothers and the fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, call, even if you call the national hotline, which is 1-800-799-7233, right? Just call and say, I have somebody in my life and they're going through this difficult time. I don't know what to do. I took this training, this brief training, and I want to be able to make sure that I'm supporting them in a way that I'm safe, right? And that I'm keeping my friend, or I'm keeping my loved ones safe. Right. And these are the resources. I've already kind of went over them. And of course, you're going to have, Marin's going to make sure that you have access to this training, and also, of course, these resources. And we have the same list of these resources on our website as well. Another thing that we do here at CCEFF is we provide a monthly, I call it a survivor support. It's called it's funny, I'm still messing with the name of it, you guys, but we provide a monthly survivor support training. So in other words, survivor support is really support for the loved one of the survivor. That's why I say we're playing with it. But it's the last Saturday of every month. And so the 27th of this month, we're going to be focused on what's called Beyond the Bruises. And so we have both a registered nurse and a therapist. They're going to be online. The nurse is going to be talking about some of the ways domestic violence impacts the health, the physical health. And then, of course, the therapist is going to talk a little bit about what it does to someone's emotional health and well-being. So, and that's, of course, you can access that training from our website as well. And we just ask for a donation. I think it's like a $10 donation. So, and that's it. I don't know how much time I have left. I set my timer, but I don't know if there's any questions.
You did a great job, and you have one question in the chat, so you can feel free to answer there, and then we'll have some Q&A in the end too. Thank you so much, Linda. That was super helpful. I know people appreciated the focus on friends and family, because I think that that's not necessarily a resource that we see often. So thank you so much. And next, I'd love to hear from Crystal Meisner from Bradley Engel.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Linda. I just want to echo everything that you said. I'm Crystal Meisner. I'm the Events and Marketing Manager with Bradley Engel, and we're actually the oldest domestic violence shelter on the West Coast. So I will just go ahead and kick it off with my presentation here. All right, and I'm not sure. Second here. All right, is everyone able to see? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, and just to check, since I can't tell, is everyone good on to see it? Okay, great.
Yes.
So we are actually celebrating 50 years this year. We were founded in 1975. Like I said, we're one of the first emergency shelters in the country and the first domestic violence shelter on the West Coast. It's a nonprofit. We provide culturally responsive and community-centered support services to all survivors of domestic, intimate partner, and sexual violence, along with stalking as well. So we're a survivor-led grassroots organization. We were actually started in Darcel's Tavern. A bunch of women that came together and just kind of said, hey, you know, no one's coming to save us, and this is a serious problem. And so the name of Bradley Angle, we get a lot of questions. Folks will say, are you an engineering firm? Are you an architect firm? But actually Sharon Bradley and Pam Angle were unfortunately folks that lost their lives on the streets due to domestic violence. And so that's why we are named after both of them. And our mission is to build communities that are free from violence and oppression, where loving, compassion, and equitable relationships exist for all people. We value the dignity and the personal story of everyone who comes to us for support, and respect that survivors should have control over their own lives. So that's really a big focus of what we do. Like Linda said, there's never enough advocates out there. So being able to be a friend and family person, I love that that's the focus of your organization. We have culturally specific services. Our Healing Roots and our Kinship Youth Support Programs, they actually work in tandem with each other. Those are culturally specific for the Black African American communities. And then our Marsha's Folks is culturally specific for the LGBTQIA+ communities. We also have our economic empowerment, our emergency shelter, and our housing assistant programs. Those are open to everyone. So our Healing Roots and Kinship program, we believe safety and healing doesn't look the same for everyone, which is why our Healing Roots program provides culturally specific and responsive services for Black and African American survivors of domestic violence. So we offer support groups, individual advocacy, parenting resources, and then in tandem, our kinship program addresses the needs and impacts of intergenerational trauma experienced by the children of our Healing Roots participants. So we offer peer support, family field trips, mentorship, that can look like tutoring. We offer art therapy classes, cooking classes, so all sorts of different avenues of healing together in community. So we were actually the first domestic violence service provider in Oregon to offer culturally specific drop-in services for African immigrant and African American survivors. And here's just some pictures from some of the different support groups, art therapy. We just had a block party over the summer, which was fantastic. One of our cooking classes, we did a Mother's Day event at our shelter. And then we have folks that go and advocate for our services down in Salem. And this year's been a big year for that, obviously, for many different reasons. So our Marsha's Folks program, we provide participants, I haven't had enough coffee this morning, across the LGBTQIA+ spectrum with basic needs, individual advocacy, group support, and safety planning. So we offer a couple different groups and courses for folks. Our Healthy Relationships course is a series that explores the skills needed to build healthy relationships. We talk about things like setting boundaries, handling conflict, negotiating, taking accountability, and identifying and communicating personal values. Our support groups are free and they're open to anyone who self-identifies as LGBTQIA2S+ survivors of domestic and/or sexual assault, as well as stalking. The courses are intended for individuals, and so those courses are actually open for anyone. You don't have to be on a wait list to be a participant. We just ask that you register for those, and they open up at various times throughout the year. So we're actually one of the only culturally specific domestic violence service providers for the LGBTQ2S+ community in the entire state of Oregon. And our services have now expanded that we do offer our Marsha's Folks program across the state of Oregon. So we do actually have the highest LGBTQIA2S+ population per capita in the US, but some of the fewest services for that community. So our economic empowerment, Linda touched on the financial abuse aspect of domestic violence. We see it in the majority of our participants. So we do offer our economic empowerment program, which is a fantastic program. We just had our waitlist opened up and then it quickly was filled again, but we're hoping to open that up here within the next few months again. So we're trying to bring in advocates so that we can offer more services. We offer a match savings program where we match dollar per dollar up to a certain amount. And then we also have, and that's our own program. We also work with IDAs. It's a little bit limited with the IDAs. There's a little bit more involved in that, but that's something that is available to our participants at the moment. And then we also offer financial know-how courses. Again, those are open to the general public if you identify as a survivor of domestic or sexual violence. They're held virtually, they're free. And again, you don't have to be a participant to be part of these courses. Let's see here. Sorry, I think I'm probably at time. We do have our emergency shelter. We have our confidential emergency shelter 24/7. We actually just expanded services for 90 days. And then we have 4 confidential scattered sites as well. And then we have our housing services and housing assistant. So we work with folks to get long-term stable housing. And that's a big portion of what we do. I did have a video on the end of this, but I think I'm probably at time. So I will conclude there unless have a few minutes left.
How long is the video?
I believe it's only I think it's a couple minutes here. Let me see. I don't know if
Yeah, we can watch it. Go ahead.
Okay. Now that it's playing.
Uh-oh, I don't hear the sound.
Oh no. Is the sound playing or is it not? No sound. Okay.
No. Do you have a
I
link
can
to the
drop it.
video?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can
Okay.
go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Perfect.
Yes, and thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. Such wonderful resources. Yeah, it was awesome to hear about. And looks like you might have a few questions in the chat, so I'll let you answer those. And thank you so much again. I'll pass it now to Christine Sanders from Greater Northwest Community Health Collective.
Hey, 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 my peoples. The weather out
Hey.
here is amazing. I don't want to work. I just want to sit outside with no shoes on. But I can't. I got to do this because Annie asked me to. What's up? That's my girl. What's up? All right, y'all.
Thanks,
So
Christine.
I'm the executive director and a co-founder of Greater Northwest Community Health Collective. We've been around for 3.5 years, serving communities of color in a lot of different avenues, specifically around trainings, CHW1 and CHW2 trainings, which my program manager will cover a little bit more than I will. We are out here in the Gresham Rockwood area, but we serve all the way throughout Multnomah County. And sometimes we dabble a little bit in Clackamas. It just depends on what mood I'm in for the day. So once Annie gets the slide set up and ready to go, my program manager will introduce herself and we'll get on it. I didn't do it this time, Annie. That's you messing up. Don't be taking away my minutes.
I think that, let's see. So Marin's running this one. I think that Marin, are the slides available? Or Christine, do you have the slides?
If you let us share, we have our slides, yeah. Because
Okay,
we like that.
awesome. So at the bottom of your screen, you should
Yeah.
see a green box.
All right, Denisha, you got that? Bam. Look at us being productive and professional on a Tuesday.
It's awesome. It's so good.
All right.
Perfect. Now we can see
All
it.
right. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Denisha Brown. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Community Health Program Manager here at Greater Northwest. Like Christine was saying, we do serve Multnomah County, and a favorite part of this presentation is about our programs. So let's talk programs. One of my favorite programs we have here at Greater Northwest is the CHW, which stands for Community Health Worker. Anyone know what a community health worker is? By show of hands or show of emojis? Yes, Shannon.
Emojis.
Great. Perfect. So we have 2 CHW trainings. CHW 1 training, and that we take community members, BIPOC specifically, so Black, Indigenous, people of color, community members that are either unemployed or underemployed, and we get them trained under OHA, so Oregon Health Authority. They have the 90-hour curriculum, and we get them in the space. One of my favorite parts is because it's BIPOC, it's such a unique and culturally safe space for people to share, learn about their neighbor, and we handpick the participants. So it's not just mostly one group of ethnicity or race, but we might have someone from this village or this part of the continent, and we open the space. Of course, we teach the curriculum, but there's so much discussion and learning in the room that happens, that they often leave with that community. Folks have started the group chats and share, hey, I got this job. Hey, make sure you sign folks up for this or sign the kids up for this. So it's a very unique space. But of course, they leave with the Oregon, the OHA certificate, and they're officially a CHW once they go through the process. So with that first training, it kind of birthed the CHW 2 training. So at the bottom of the presentation, you'll see advanced clinical basics trainings. So with every cohort for the CHW 1, we get feedback. And a lot of folks wanted to be a CHW, of course, but in the clinical setting. So CHWs they're very valuable. They can be in almost any industry, any social service. So they can be in housing, they can be in the justice system, they can be a little bit everywhere if you ask me. But a lot of folks see the value in clinical settings. So we created a curriculum that would help foster at least learning and putting those folks directly into a clinical setting. So it's designed to support, of course, people of color. So once we put those people of color into those, or the idea of putting them into a clinical setting, we actually talk about what that experience may look like for usually a person of color, sometimes only the only person of color in a care team where they're working with the provider, they're working with a case manager. So it covers all that. And I'll leave a little bit of room for Christine to talk about that. But we have more programs to talk about. Another program that we have, yes, coming very, very, very soon that we are super excited about is the Rockwood Fresh Express Shuttle. And I also just want to share on the side some of the pictures we have feeding the community. But this one here is going to be basically removing a barrier for Rockwood residents, so folks that live in the Gresham Rockwood area, and we are removing the transportation barrier. So we are taking folks grocery shopping. So we are meeting them where they're at. We are picking them up in our 15-passenger van, and we are taking them to different locations. So not just one. We have Winco, which is very affordable, and a lot of Rockwood residents shop there. But Walmart, we're taking them to local markets, and Costco. Yes, in Costco. So that's just one thing that our executive director, Christine, seen the need in Rockwood. And yeah, the whole idea also is, like the slide says, is to be sustainable and reliable, and really just making sure folks, starting with Rockwood residents, they're not just going to what they know. And usually what we know is the convenience stores. They're shopping at local markets or fast food restaurants, instead of going to the grocery store and getting those way better options and really getting more money. I'm getting more food for their money. Okay, and then the last program we want to talk about today is the Mobile Community Health Center. So we have a beautiful 40-foot mobile community health van, and it's basically Hope on Wheels, just like it says. Hope on Wheels. So we are wanting to take trainings, we want to take direct services out in community, and fitness, nutrition. We have so many programs that we are putting inside this mobile van to actually, once again, take another barrier out and actually reaching folks where they're at, which is mobily. And of course, everything that we do is going to be through a culturally specific lens and responsive lens. And we have a lot more hopes and ideas for our van, but this is the foundation. Christine, do you want to add anything?
After you finish.
Perfect. Christine and I are in the same room, so. Cool.
Okay, so here's a plug-in of our CHW.
You're muted,
Chris-
Christine.
Yeah.
Christine, you're muted.
Christine,
We
you're still
can't hear
muted.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
you
Now
know, I've
you're
always
good.
wondered what people thought when I'm talking to myself and no one can hear anything. And I'm just talking to myself. This is good practice for my senior years, y'all. Y'all gonna get there too, don't you worry. Yes. Okay, so we have always did our CHW1 training for free for communities of color. Obviously that funding ran out, but that didn't stop folks from continuing to contact us for the training. So I had a light bulb moment one day and decided I find the trainings to be super expensive for what's out there. So I decided to do a little bit more than half cost and still provide it before the end of the year. So we're providing this training at $500 a pop compared to the $1,200 to $1,400 for anyone who wants to be certified as a CHW or OHA from a community of color, of course. So we are offering that to squeeze it in one more time before the end of the year for those who are interested. And then our last one, as Denisha moves the thing over, is we put in our flyer for our CHW2 training, which is really a strong way for folks to build their capacity at learning the medical language, the medical behavior, and the medical skills that a CHW person would need. What I really like about this program is we have a physician assistant, we have two providers, we have a nurse, and we have a nutritionist, all who are experts in this field for numerous years, who have came together to help put this curriculum together, including some consultants from other agencies like Kiara, who's right there. I can see. Hey, we have all came together to build this curriculum to continue to help our communities of color who are really needed to be in front-facing roles in our healthcare sector, and we don't have enough. So I and my organization, alongside with Denisha, are constantly looking for ways to build our community up, provide opportunities for our community and whatever that looks like. And these are just a few of the programs that we are providing for Multnomah County from our little tiny spot out here in Gresham Rockwood. And as my timer says, I have 1 minute and 22 seconds for anyone who has a question. I'm on time, Annie.
I have a question. So how would somebody, can you send that out, this flyer? Because I'm really interested in doing this
Yes, Annie
training.
is going to do that. I've
Okay,
asked Annie to send it out and she will.
thank you. Hi,
You're
Annie.
welcome.
Yeah, you can find it in our newsletter, and then I dropped I don't know if it's the same thing, but I did drop I think it is the link for the Google Doc form for the November 13th through December 18th health worker training. So you can find that in the chat as well.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is so wonderful, and totally agree that we need some more representation in the health field. So thank you all so much for your work. And
I do have a quick question real quick. Sorry.
yeah.
So on the thing you said, the training is free or very low cost. So is this like through a scholarship funding or?
No, it's 500. That is the scholarship.
Oh,
The
okay,
scholarship, that's like the significantly reduced price. It used to be we did 5 cohorts for over a year for free.
right,
And then
right.
our funding dried up. So now we're doing an extremely low cost of $500, which really covers scanning, making copies of the curriculum for the participants to take home. So we're not getting anything out of it, just covering the bare minimum of the admin fees is going to cost to get you all your curriculum to become CHW certified.
Okay. If I can get your information, if I have any questions, I want to reach out to you.
Yep. All right. Good to talk to
Okay.
you, peoples.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Kiara, would love to hear from you. Kiara's from Coalition of Community Health Clinics.
Hey, everybody. And Joyce, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Kiara and I'm Joyce, are here to share a little bit about our organization, who we are, and our work. So, the Coalition of Community Health Clinics. Oops, let me wait for Kiara. She's managing the slides for me today. Thank you, Kiara. Awesome. Next slide, please. Awesome. Thank you. So the Coalition of Community Health Clinics was founded in 1985 and 40 years this year, and is a direct service organization comprised over a network of federally qualified health centers, community-sponsored clinics, and educational health institutions. So we fill a critical gap in Oregon's healthcare infrastructure through our commitment to centering injustice and reflecting it in our strategy, partnerships, and programs. Next slide, please, Kara. So here are the clinics we work with. Our commitment is to health equity and racial justice, and is reflected in the diversity of the 16 clinics and communities we serve that have long faced systemic barriers. And so clinic support helps safety net providers deliver holistic, trauma-informed, and inclusive care to community members. So, or also adjusts the costs of service based on a person's ability to pay. So no one is really turned away. Next slide, please. Thank you. And here we have our multicultural core team, which includes CHWs who speak and or are certified interpreters in Spanish, Swahili, Vietnamese, Burmese, and Chuukese. So you can come to us from all walks of life. We are able to support. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our work, as mentioned earlier, is to foster collaboration among safety net health clinics to meet the needs of our diverse communities and ensuring access to services that meet people's health-related social needs. So between July 2024 and June 2025, our CHW team in total have served over 800 individuals, attended over 130 outreach events, and in addition, CCHC co-hosted 2 health and wellness fairs with our partners to provide vaccinations, health insurance enrollment, chiropractic care, STI health screenings, boxes and are currently actually planning another health fair with our partners CSN and ERCO for November 1st this year.
Did I go too fast?
No, you're perfect. And next slide is all about you.
Okay, so these are the pillars of our work. When we talk about emergency preparedness, we have someone who does technical assistance, and they support our clinics and community members. Oh, we didn't. There we go. With things, information around emergencies like wildfires or the pandemic or mass shootings, like they help clinics prepare plans to address those things and convey information from the state to clinics so that they can then respond to these emergencies and support patients. And we've been doing that since 2019. We also do policy and advocacy work, and what that looks like is bringing information, training CHW specifically, and other direct service staff around how to advocate for the policies that help address access to care, either medical care or social services. One of the bills that we were supporting last year was the flavored tobacco ban. So we did an advocacy one-on-one to help CHWs understand how to advocate and what that looks like, how to go to Salem, how idea becomes a law. And then we participated in a lobby day to go listen and talk to and testify on behalf of some bills. So that's just an example of some of the advocacy work that we do at a CCHC. Some of our direct service programs and the ways that we actually uplift and live the values and the mission of CCHC include health access community outreach. So we have partnership with the Cure and Connect to Care team, and we have CHWs who go out with them in Multnomah County and Washington County, helping folks enroll into OHP, helping them maneuver between the CCOs, and also any other of the services that community members need to access, like rent or utilities or food or workman comp or resume building. They really do support community in all of the ways that holistically, because we know health is more than just your physical health. We lead what's called the Heal Together Learning Collaborative, where we bring speakers that are talking about topics relevant and of interest to community and to our clinics and to space. It's like a 2.5 hours. We feed you, and it really is knowledge sharing. Some of the topics we've covered this last year include Know Your Rights, the advocacy one-on-one, community-based de-escalation, knowing that we have CHWs out in the field, and if they're at a community event, what happens if something pops off? How do you de-escalate, or how do you remove yourself safely? Not all CBOs, especially the smaller nonprofits, have those type of plans. So it's information that supports the community, CHWs and community and direct service staff. And we also regularly do a CHW support and supervision training in partnership with Multnomah County Health Department. We do some tobacco work, and what that looks like is looking at root causes. And so education on how the commercial tobacco has targeted specific communities, but our Black community, Native community, how stress impacts health, and then also tools and skills to help address indoor combat or be more resilient when dealing with racism as a public health issue. We do tobacco prevention intervention education with our partners, Christine, woo woo, we're in a New Hope. We've done them for 2 years now. And it's one of those where it's CHW focus, popular education, and you walk away with skills to help serve community and help community move through the process of thinking about if they want to stop smoking, and also realizing it's a system issue, not just an individual problem. And we as Christine already talked about, their beautiful CHW1 training, we help facilitate that as well. Coming up, so things y'all can get into and or join us is our advocacy 101 and 102 training this year. We'll do it in December. We're co-hosting a health fair with ERCO and CSN in November. We are actually having a CHW support supervision training this month, as well as impacts of racism training this month. And by the end of the year, we'll be hosting a Real D SOGI training for clinics and for CHWs. Those dates are not set yet, but they will be coming. And these are the QR codes to register for either CHW supervision if you're interested, impacts of racism if you're interested, or if you have anyone that you want to refer or need some support with enrolling at the OHP or navigating any of the social services that are in the Tri-County area, our CHW team can do that. And that middle QR code is our contact form. You can give us information. We will follow up directly and take it from there. And that was it. I tried to do 10 minutes.
Well
you,
done with a
everybody.
minute and 16 seconds left, Kiara. Woo!
Of your questions you can ask, and we'll drop some links in the chat too for these forms if the QR codes are not working for you. But thank you, Annie. Thank you, Maren. And
Yeah, thank you
Joyce.
guys so much. Yeah, I know that I know 10 minutes is really hard, and y'all did such a wonderful job of going over so many great things that you're doing in such little time. So thank you so much. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat. And I just put a link for the resource fair that we're collaborating on. So would love for y'all to spread the news about it to whoever you work with. Next, we'll hear from NAMI Multnomah from Drew.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Drew Fraley. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a program coordinator here at NAMI Multnomah. I coordinate all of our peer support groups, some of our peer education programs, and all of our military and veteran programs. We are the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We're the local Multnomah County affiliate. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for people with mental health conditions and their families. We do that through support, education, and advocacy. So I mentioned we're one of the local NAMI affiliates here in Oregon. We are one of 17 local affiliates and one of 4 affiliates who are their own standalone 501c3 nonprofits. We work very closely with NAMI Oregon. They coordinate all of our volunteer training. They get involved with advocacy at the state level, and they are one of 49 NAMI state affiliates. So at the national level, NAMI is the largest grassroots mental health nonprofit organization. NAMI National develops all of our curriculum and programs. They're backed by research and science. So we know that the programs we're offering to peers and family members are going to be effective and supportive. Our programs are open to anyone who identifies with the group that is served. Everybody who works and volunteers at NAMI Multnomah is either a peer themselves or a family member and loved one of a peer. All of our programs are drop-in. We have virtual programs and in-person programs, and people can participate as little or as much as they'd like. They're also peer-led, so they're led by volunteers who have their own lived experience with mental illness and are living well in recovery. And all of our programs are free. 1 in 5 adults experience symptoms of a mental illness every year, and we want to support all of those adults through our programs. We have peer and family support groups. We have our education classes. We have one-on-one peer support that we offer through the community, as well as presentations and community events. These are the peer support groups we currently have going on. So we have our LGBTQ support group, our young adult peer support group for people ages 18 through 35. Complex trauma and dissociation is a really unique support group we offer in the community. Anybody who has experienced symptoms of CPTSD, adults with high ACE scores, anybody who experiences dissociation in any form are welcome to join this group. It's a peer-led group, not clinician-led, but none of these groups require a formal diagnosis to join. You just have to identify yourself as a peer to the group. We have Connection, which is our general support group. Anybody over age 18 is welcome to join. And then we have culturally specific groups for the BIPOC community, as well as our veteran and military sexual trauma support groups. On the other side of the coin, we have family support groups for family members and loved ones of peers. We have our main family support group. That group got so popular that we had to split it off into a family support group and a partners and spouses support group. So for people who support a partner, spouse, or loved one who lives with mental illness, that group is really helpful. We have a parent support group that we offer in English and Spanish, and a military family support group for family members of people who are military connected. These are the classes we currently offer. So NAMI Basics is a 6-week course for parents of children under the age of 22 who want to learn about recognizing signs of mental illness and how to support their children who are experiencing those symptoms. Family to Family is for family members of adult children or, any adult in your life who experiences mental illness. That's a peer taught class as well. So your teachers for Family to Family will also be family members who support loved ones who live with mental illness. Peer to peer is exactly what it sounds like. Peers teaching other peers about basic brain biology, medication, treatment options, and things like that. And then we have a culturally specific peer-to-peer class for veterans that is usually in person. Our veteran peer support services are one-on-one. We have veteran peer support specialists who go out in the community. They go to the veteran village. They're out there at Fort Kennedy doing one-on-one peer support. You can fill out the referral form. I think that QR code leads to that, but it's also on our website. You can self-refer, or you can have your clinician or support make a referral for you, and you can get on the schedule to meet with our veteran peer support specialists. They try to meet in person as much as possible, but sometimes that isn't possible, so they're also available on Zoom. And we also have veteran family support specialists who provide one-on-one support to family members. Same thing, family members can self-refer or be referred by a provider for these services. Who you should refer to NAMI, peers, anybody who's receiving mental health treatment and wants to build community with other people who understand what they're going through and who have been through similar experiences. Peers who are looking for social support. Our support groups are a great way for peers to kind of get themselves back out there and start socializing again in a way that's structured and healthy. And our services are also great for people who support peers. So if you have a loved one, or if you know someone who has a loved one who experiences mental illness, NAMI National actually started as a support group for parents whose kids were experiencing schizophrenia, and it grew from there to be what the organization is now. If you have any questions, you can contact our NAMI Multnomah helpline. It's not a live helpline anymore. We take about 1 or 2 days to return phone calls and emails now. But that is also volunteer and staff run. And I think that is all I have to share today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew. And yeah, to echo what Annie said, it's so cool that so many of these resources are not only about folks who are experiencing something, but also folks who are helping to support them. So I'm loving hearing that. And next, I'll pass it to Adam Colby from Brightways Counseling Group. You ready to go, Autumn? Yes.
All right, hopefully everyone can hear me. My headphones just alerted me that, they're dying. So if that happens, just to let me know. But yeah, some familiar faces. It's good to see many of you again. And for those I don't know, and there's many as well. I hope to connect after this. But yeah, so let me share my PowerPoint. All right, it's showing shared on my end. If that's not the case, just let me know.
Looking good.
Cool. So yeah, I'm from Brightways Counseling Group. My name's Autumn. I'm the integrative care specialist here. And in a nutshell, my role at our practice is I connect folks with resources when they need something outside of our care. So it's really great to know more about the resources shared today. And then I also am the point person for our partners. So if at any point anyone wants to connect further, to collaborate, cross-refer, just let me know. Would love to have a conversation. So yeah, Brightways Counseling Group, we are a mental health practice, and our whole goal is getting people the care they need now and breaking down any barriers that get in the way. So yeah, we are all about no wait time, no delays, getting people in quickly. We provide therapy and psychiatric services. So we do these services both in person and virtually. And for our therapy services, we see all ages, so 0 up. And then for med management, it's 6 and up. We do take OHP, Care Oregon, Trillium, and other CCOs as well. And then we do take commercial plans too. One of our pillars is that we are an integrative care practice. So really collaboration is at the heart of what we do. And we work with all sorts of providers and collaborate closely with many different kinds of service providers or medical practices. But all of our providers, any that make referrals to us, we do provide updates on any referral that is sent by a provider. So you would get notified if you submitted the referral, if we've accepted the client or if not, and why, like if out of network, or maybe we're recommending that they have more wraparound services. So we provide updates on all referrals received. And then with medical partners that we partner closely with, those partnerships take many different forms, but all of them do receive treatment plans, of course, if the client consents to that. And so, you know, we believe in treating whole person, and that's why we really work to collaborate and work closely with providers. So another pillar is just our rapid access. So on our website, clients can self-refer or be referred, and they can actually get their first screening appointment scheduled directly from our website as well. And if the client is Spanish speaking, they too have access to our bilingual staff's calendar and can schedule directly there as well with one of our bilingual staff. So our in-person locations, they're in Portland, Eugene, Bend, Redmond, Woodburn, Salem. We are also getting ready to open in Gresham and the Tigard Beaverton area. And then we do telehealth, so statewide. So we have over 100 clinicians, and many have different areas of specialties, very expansive team, you know, some domestic violence areas of expertise, sexual assault trauma, depression, anxiety, trauma, chronic illness, pain, grief, and these are just to name a few. And again, if there was ever a specific you know, area of expertise you're looking into or would like to support the people you're serving, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to, you know, provide names or give you a list of our clinician bios, which has like, you know, the areas that our clinicians have expertise in, languages they speak, ages they treat. So you can have just like a lot of, you know, more information to connect clients to the right provider. We also ask a lot of questions during our consultation to be able to recommend a provider as well that we think it may be a good fit if they don't have a preference. So that's also something we do. And then treatments we provide, and again, these are just a few. There's many others that we provide. CBT, EMDR, DBT, ACT. We also do art therapy, play therapy, PCIT. We have PCIT labs, parent counseling support. So there's just, you know, many treatments we provide. Here is a video. I just don't know how much time I have. It's like 2 minutes. Hold on. And I also don't want to take too much time trying to figure out how to share sound. Okay, I'll just pass it, but it's on our website. You're more than welcome to review it. It's just really showing how we partner with primary care and why we've implemented our direct scheduling system on our website. So yeah, if you go to our website, there's a Seek Services tab on the top right. That's where a client can self-refer or be referred, but also be able to schedule that first screening appointment. And the reason that we implemented that was that in Bend, the medical practices we partner with, they would share to us a lot like, hey, I've been giving your information to clients, they're not following up. So we really sat with that information and tried to think, how can we bridge that gap? And what we implemented was the direct scheduling feature. And so we asked those primary care practices, hey, can we partner with you and can we track engagement based on clients that you refer in this way and see if it, improves engagement. And we did find that when clients left their primary care appointments with an appointment for mental health, engagement did increase by 49%. So it went from 26% to 75. And that's pretty substantial. And so again, that doesn't have to be just a primary care. That can be anyone who shares space with someone and expresses a need for mental health services, and that support can be provided. But we have other ways in which we can accept referrals as well: phone, fax, email, and please use me as a point of contact too. Um, and that's just going over the statistic. So yeah, what's in it for you? Our closed loop referrals. We do have two-way consultations. There are some medical practices we meet with monthly and we share updates, or we share them an Excel report if that's what they prefer. We understand how busy things are for folks. So that's why I say like our partnerships are flexible. They take many different forms. Our direct scheduling feature is another benefit. And then whole person care, how we partner with, medical practices, social services, and then our leading edge treatment. And yeah, that's about Brightways. I'm happy to answer any questions or connect further with people if you'd like to have a conversation after this. But thanks for allowing me to share.
Yay, thanks, Autumn. And yeah, looks like you maybe have a few questions in the chat, and then definitely somebody who wants some contact information to connect. So that's great. And it's great to learn more about what you do. So thank you so much. Last but certainly not least, we have Holly Dandurand from Extra Pelvic Not Rare. You ready to
Hi,
go,
thank
Holly?
you.
Hey,
Thank you for getting my last name right.
I try my best.
Yeah, you did perfect. It's not Duran Duran, it's Dan Duran. So I'm Holly Dan Duran. I'm presenting for Extra Pelvic Not Rare. Most of you at the local events will see our founder, Dr. Wendy Bingham. I'm down here in California in Sacramento. I sometimes get to come up there, which I appreciate because we have family in the area. So I will be at some events, but a lot of the times I help from behind the scenes down here. So Extra Pelvic Not Rare, our mission is to advocate, educate, and support research for endometriosis as a body-wide disease while fostering inclusivity and community participation. So what is endometriosis? Extrapelvic disease, which is why we're extra pelvic, not rare, is extrapelvic disease isn't rare despite the current definitions and policies. So currently within a lot of the medical systems, endometriosis is understood as a menstrual disease that's confined to female organs. However, that's not the case. Endometriosis is a disease with body-wide lesion potential and can disrupt systemic homeostasis, which is systemic. In fact, endometriosis has been found in every major organ of the body and can in fact affect all genders with different rates. So some of the systemic symptoms include fatigue, headaches, specifically migraines, and then some of the symptoms are more localized by location or proximity to the actual lesions of the disease. and they can lead to pain and weakness and different symptoms that you can read there. For example, myself, I had endometriosis by my gallbladder, and when they went in to do my gallbladder surgery, they found the endometriosis, and that had caused a lot of the lesion proximal symptoms that I had had. So it really does bleed into a lot of the populations that I've heard people are serving today from your different nonprofits, that I really appreciate how much endometriosis can affect our populations. So EPNR, our action overview, is rooted in inclusivity. We're dedicated to advocating those affected by endometriosis, educating the public, and of course, supporting that independent research. And we strive to create a community where everyone impacted by endometriosis is heard, supported, and acknowledged. And what we mean by impacted by endometriosis is not just patients themselves. It's patients' families, it's patients' friends, coworkers, anybody that is around them. Everybody is impacted by endometriosis and how it bleeds into all of our communities. So our three pillars are advocacy, education, and research. So on the advocacy side is we hold health fairs and boothing opportunities to educate the community about endometriosis. And we really appreciate the opportunities that CSN has given us there in the local community. And because we have recently had that opportunity at elementary school functions, we've started to provide some just in case menstrual packets, as well as some short brochures about learning about menstruation and learning about the possible younger side effects of or symptoms of endometriosis. And so it's not a menstrual disease, but it overlaps sometimes with symptoms. And so we've been able to provide those at some of our local community events up there with CSN. Our education portion is kind of twofold. So the first part of our education that we believe in is that we believe education should be a free, accessible right to people. Last year, we wrote the ABCs of extrapelvic endometriosis. It's a free digital book available in 4 languages worldwide, and that's on our website. I don't have a QR code on the slides here, but I can put that in the chat when I'm done. The second part of our education is working with students, because working with students is obviously going to drive forward the understanding of endometriosis and get into the medical systems and change the public's opinion of endometriosis and how important it is going forward. So the last part is research, especially with the limited funding for endometriosis throughout the country. Independent research will help drive forward the better holistic approach to the disease. Our graduate student pictured here helped close the knowledge gap between patients and medical providers. She was a graduate level occupational therapist and did a little bit of research to show that knowledge gap, and also provided an in-service for her peers. So some of our recent successes have been publishing our book last year, but this year it's really impactful. We've been able to prepare and get printed brochures. So those will be about understanding endometriosis, the QR codes for all 4 languages of our books for free digital access, those youth menstrual information brochures, and then also a brochure about us, our organization, Extrapelvic Not Rare, all available in English and Spanish. And we're hoping to, again, get those translated into additional languages. So some of our future directions that we're going towards is right now, next month in October, we're collaborating with Washington State University for an Empowered on Campus 3-day event. We're hoping to start to offer some group gatherings, which will really be able to provide a more in-depth conversation about endometriosis, way more than we can provide right standing at a table in a booth in a busy environment. And then also we'd like to develop partnerships with university student organizations and education programs, some of the nonprofits that CSN partners with as well, because we'd like to be able to help serve your communities a little bit better with some of the information that we have that really truly impacts the same populations. Working with the community at the boothing events and such is really kind of what fills our cup. We get to meet people all over the pendulum. If they've heard about endometriosis or they have it themselves, they still walk away with more education than they walked up to the booth with, and they're happy that we are there representing the disease. And then for people that don't know anything about it or never heard of endometriosis or have only heard the word, they again walk away with more information they had, and they're very grateful that we're there representing the disease. So it doesn't take millions to make a difference. It takes people who care. This is kind of at the heart of our volunteers. Most of our volunteers have a personal connection with endometriosis, and with access to care, there is just no way we cannot get involved and give back to our communities and help broaden the access to care for all populations. Currently, our funding comes from individuals and corporate matching programs or project-specific grants. And of course, that's always a struggle for nonprofits, is to keep it going. One of the things that I personally have loved about sitting here in California and learning about from CSN is really how much passion there is within all of the nonprofits and how much overlap there is for us all to kind of connect. So if you are in the area and would like Wendy to come as a guest speaker, she loves talking about this disease and healthcare in general, and all of the ways that it overlaps into mental health in different populations and how it can affect economic struggles for patients as well as their families and caregivers and everything. So Dr. Wendy Bingham will be able to come and talk if you'd like her to at any of your different events. And also we do have those brochures. We have brochures in the English and the Spanish that maybe might serve some of your population. So let us know if we can help drop off some of those brochures for you, or if we can collaborate with something virtually. And again, I'm here virtually all the time. Sometimes I get up there too. So it's best if you do want to get in touch with us to email both Wendy and myself, or you can text me. I'm very adept with texting and emails as well. So if you have any questions, there's our information, and I'll put our website into the chat as well. Did I share? Okay, how do I stop sharing? Perfect, thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Holly. Yeah, it looks like there's some love for you and what you do in the chat, so that's great. Okay, well, at this point, this is everybody's opportunity for some questions and answers. If you wanted to have a question out loud, feel free to have that. I know that we have some folks who are still sticking around. And then I have a link for a survey here in the chat. Would love for y'all to give us some input on your experience during this session.